First, Dereck Chisora and now Dillian Whyte have come out on social media in the past few days and both announced that they have signed to fight each other. Now, this comes in the wake of an IFL TV interview that Dereck Chisora did, in which he said that he don't think this fight is going to happen because Eddie Hearn wasn't offering him enough money. And he was constantly banging on about money in that particular interview. Now, I don't know what's transpired behind the scenes in negotiations since that interview. Perhaps Eddie Hearn has succumbed to Chisora's demands and offered him what he wants, or perhaps Chisora has lowered his demands. Who knows? As I say, it appears that the fight is on. Both fighters are saying that they have signed for it. We have to await the official announcement, obviously, in the press conference to know 100% for sure. So we'll see. But for now, in this video, I'm going to assume that a fight is taking place for the time being. Now, I've made my position on this fight very, very clear. And I'm just going to reiterate what I've already said in previous videos. I think Dillian Whyte is going to win this fight decisively. I don't see this as a 50-50 fight. If I had to pick a method of victory, I would say Dillian Whyte wins on points. Chisora's only ever been down in one fight, and that was against David Haye, who is a tremendous puncher, a bigger puncher than Dillian Whyte, a more accurate power puncher than Dillian Whyte, more explosive than Dillian Whyte. All the other big punches that Chisora has been in with, like Vitali Klitschko, Robert Helenius, etc., they weren't able to put him on the floor. Helenius rocked him in the first round, but other than that first round, he never came close to rocking him again or putting him on the floor. And Vitali Klitschko never even managed to rock Chisora. So Chisora's got a very good chin. And in fact, up until that left hook landed in the, 5th round against David Haye, even David Haye wasn't able to rock Chisora. And he'd landed some pretty powerful shots. I remember a right uppercut that sent some, drool flying out of Chisora's mouth in slow motion. I remember that shot landed in the David Haye fight, and Chisora just shrugged it off. So the guy's got a good chin. He's been in with big punches before. Only one of them has managed to put him down. So I can't really expect Dillian Whyte to be able to do what David Haye did. I don't think he's as explosive as Haye to be able to land a shot like that. But there is the possibility of him stopping Dereck Chisora late in a similar fashion to the way that he stopped Ian Lewison. Chisora was stopped like that, obviously, in the Tyson Fury rematch. So he could get busted up and stopped late. It's a possibility. But as I say, my prediction is going to be Dillian Whyte to win on points. Now, why do I think Dillian Whyte is going to win? Why do I seem so sure that he's going to win? It's very simple. I think he is by far the more skilled fighter. I don't think the skill level is even close between them. Now, Chisora does bring certain attributes to the party. He's more experienced than Dillian Whyte. He's got a very good engine. We know that about Chisora. This guy don't have stamina issues. So perhaps he'll be able to push Dillian Whyte like nobody else and make it very uncomfortable for him, whereby he'll be able to nullify Dillian Whyte's extra skills. But you have to remember that Dillian Whyte is in much better condition now than he was when he fought Anthony Joshua. And he took a hell of a lot of big punches from Joshua before he eventually went down. And that was when he was very fatigued in the 7th round. Today, as you can see just from Dillian Whyte's physique, he's in much better condition. He's been very active and he's been going rounds. He went 10 rounds with Dave Allen and he just went, how many rounds was it with Ian Lewison? Was it 10 rounds again? I know he stopped Lewison, but the fight went a lot of rounds. So he's active. He's been going rounds. I have to expect that his stamina is not going to be a problem in this Dereck Chisora fight. So I'm expecting a long fight. I think early on, Chisora will be somewhat difficult for Dillian Whyte to deal with because he's going to come in there with a lot of aggression. There's a lot of needle between these two fighters. So I think, early doors, Chisora is going to be charging at Dillian Whyte. But after a few rounds, and after Dillian Whyte has hit Chisora with a few heavy shots, I think Whyte will get the fight under control. His boxing skills will come into play, his counter-punching ability and all that. And I think he will start piling up the points and, as I say, take a decision victory. That's what I see. I can't see Chisora, as basic as he is, being able to defeat Dillian Whyte. I just don't see it. And when you talk about skills, just as an example, the punch that Dillian Whyte landed in the Anthony Joshua fight, that left hook, that wasn't a bolt out of the blue in the sense that it wasn't a lucky punch. It wasn't some random shot that Dillian Whyte threw. No, you watch the first round of that Dillian Whyte-Anthony Joshua fight. He attempts to land that very same counter left hook several times in the first round, but Anthony Joshua manages to block it. So that's a trick that he has in his bag. That wasn't a random punch. It was a very slick, cheeky counter punch that he throws with that left hook. Show me any time in Dereck Chisora's career that he's thrown a punch like that, as sophisticated as that, as clever as that. I've never seen it. You could count on one hand the amount of times that Dereck Chisora has thrown a counter punch in his entire career. And you could count on one finger the number of those counter punches that actually landed. This is a very rudimentary fighter, people, who comes forward, bobs and weaves, and throws punches. That's it. That's literally his style. And the quality of the punches that he throws is generally pretty poor. Cuffing, clubbing, slapping shots most of the time. Now, I'm not trying to diminish what he does well. He does apply pressure. He has a high work rate, so even as crude as he is, he can make it difficult for you, particularly if you're not in especially good shape. Even David Haye was blowing and finding it difficult in there. But I don't think Chisora's as good now as he was when he fought David Haye, for one. And I also think that Dillian Whyte, being a more natural heavyweight than David Haye, and Dillian Whyte is a completely natural heavyweight, he's not a cruiserweight at all, I think that his physical strength will be better than David Haye's physical strength. Not his punching power. I think David Haye definitely hits harder than Dillian Whyte. But Dillian Whyte's physical strength on the inside with Chisora will be, a bit more dominant than David Haye's was. That's what I will say. So, yeah, I'm definitely not changing my views on this fight. I think Dillian Whyte wins a pretty comfortable points decision. Might have to come through some rough moments early. And when I say rough moments, I don't think he's going to get dropped and hurt and anything like that. No, I just mean rough in terms of Dereck Chisora like a bull in a china shop, being a bit, rough on the inside and swinging a lot of shots and all that. It might actually be quite a good fight for the first few rounds. But I just feel the longer it goes, Dillian Whyte's skill will come into play. Now, some people might feel the opposite. Some people might feel, no, I think maybe Dillian Whyte will get the better of the early going because he's the sharper of the two in terms of the punches that he throws. But the longer it goes, Dereck Chisora will be able to wear him down and Dillian Whyte's skills will go out of, the picture and it will be more Dereck Chisora down the stretch. I guess that could happen too. But whatever way and however, things transpire, I expect Dillian Whyte to win on points decisively. So let me know how you feel in the comment section below. Maybe you feel different. Maybe you're somebody that says, well, if the Dereck Chisora that fought Vitaly Klitschko turns up, he beats Dillian Whyte. I don't understand that argument because the Dereck Chisora that fought Vitaly Klitschko lost all but 2, possibly 3 rounds in that fight. And that was against the very old Vitaly Klitschko who was close to retirement. It's not like Chisora nearly won the fight. He didn't even come close to winning it. He just marched forward and did nothing sophisticated at all. Just marching forward, throwing very crude punches. And that was enough to give an old Vitaly Klitschko a tough workout. But that's all it was really for him, a workout. He never came close to losing the fight. I've always maintained that the very best Dereck Chisora, whatever version of Chisora you want to bring to the table, would not beat the best version of Dillian Whyte. And we're going to see the best version of Dillian Whyte in this fight. This is not going to be the Dillian Whyte that fought Anthony Joshua. It's going to be a better version than that, a sharper version, a much more in-shape version. And I think he beats any version of Dereck Chisora there's ever been. My personal view, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll be proved horribly wrong on the night and Chisora will spring a surprise and beat the crap out of Dillian Whyte, maybe knock him out. It's heavyweight boxing, stuff happens. But I'm very confident, to be honest with you, that Dillian Whyte is going to win the fight decisively. Yeah, and when I'm confident about certain fights, I'll tell you I'm very confident and this is the result I'm firmly sticking with. But in other fights, I'm not so confident and I'm not so sure what's going to happen. And that's what I tell you. I'm not somebody that just gives you a confident prediction for the sake of appearances. No. If I'm not sure, I'll tell you I'm not sure. That's being real. I don't understand some of these people that say, oh, well, your prediction's wishy-washy. You're not being decisive about who you're picking. Well, that's because I'm not sure. There's no point. Like, making a prediction where you're being decisive when deep down you're not sure, that's being fake. Yeah? That's just guesswork, really, isn't it? I mean, it's all guesswork, but how informed is your guesswork? How educated is your guesswork? You understand what I'm saying? So, anyway, I'm digressing all over the place here. Drop your comments in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel about this fight. It's your boy Hatman. I'm out.